So, welcome. We'll be doing project number 4 in our Sparkle of the Season class. And I hope you've enjoyed this class. I've really enjoyed working with this. I've enjoyed all the stamp bundles that we've worked with so far. We have 3 more for the rest of this year. So stay tuned. You can check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, if you ever have any questions of what kit I'm offering. All right, so this is a pretty simple card, similar to the one we did before, this one with the wreath. A little bit change up in color. So let's look at what we have. We have our envelope, obviously. So let's see how much of our card we can build before we have to do any stamping or die cutting. So we have a 8.5 by 5.5 thick basic white, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So we're going to fold that and crease this fold to make this card. And then we're going to find our pieces of this is garden green, and you'll have one that's a little bit bigger. That's the one that's going to go on the front. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. It's going to go on the front, so we'll go ahead and use our Stampin' Seal and put that on. And this will clear off some of the room off of our desk. And then on the inside, we've got the 4 by 5 1/4 piece of garden green. And this is actually I'm doing it like this, but it's actually a portrait card, isn't it? So we'll do it this way. And then we have some DSP. And it is 4 by 5 1/4 as well. But before we put that on, we want to put this at the top. This is from the Basic Borders dies, and I've used that a couple times in this class, if not more. And it's a really nice set. So what you want to do is kind of make it so that it's even on both sides. It looks about right. And normally I glue it, but I don't want to get my scissors gluey. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I guess I could have done this for you, but then you wouldn't learn, right? All right, so now it's ready to go on, and I don't have to get my scissors gooey with glue. And that's going to go at the top, and we will put that on with some glue. Now this is Pear Pizzazz, and it started out at 3/4 by 5 1/2. 3/4 by 5 1/2, and I just used the die, placed the die on it, and die cut it. And I'm guessing that's enough. This glue is pretty powerful stuff. Put that up in the top corner. You'll have to decide where the top is. And I'm going to move it over here. Awesome. So pretty. And now it's ready to go on the front of my card. We don't have any ribbon that goes around the back, so we're good to go. Make sure it's opening up on the right side. And measure that. Looks good. Okay. So we know we're going to do some stamping on this piece of 3 3/4 by 5 basic white. It's going to go on the inside. And we know we're going to stamp on this circle, which I give you 2. You really only need 1. And it is the second I'm looking here. Second largest circle die. So you'd go to the largest circle die. That would be 1. Then the next largest is this one. It's number 2. And that is going to go behind this. And we're going to have our Merry Christmas there. And we're going to use Poppy Parade. So these other things I'm going to set aside for now, because they aren't going to get stamped on, and hopefully aren't going to get ink on them either. And we'll bring in our Stamparatus. We'll clear away everything. Bye-bye. Put that aside. And I'm going to use, now you can use Real Red or Poppy Parade. I'm going to use Poppy Parade because I think it goes better with the red that's in the card. I think this is more of a Poppy Parade card, red card, but you can use Real Red. I believe the ribbon is Real Red and it looks just fine. So whatever you have, whatever you want, it's up to you. And we'll get our Sparkle of the Season, which has some nice sayings. It has Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, Grateful. We want, oh, you know what? We're going to do something tricky today. We have one length of Merry Christmas, but guess what? Our Merry Christmas isn't, is it? It's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some masking. And then on the inside, we're going to want, may the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. All right, so let's do the easy part first, which is the inside. May the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. And we do need our 4x6 plastic window sheet, and we get the right one. May the sparkle. Pick that up. Of course, I have to put the plastic back in place. And I've started taping this with my, because it likes to come up. So ink that up with some Poppy Parade, beautiful bright red, very bright Christmassy red, great for Christmas. And bring in my card. Remember, it's a portrait, so we're going to be sliding it underneath there. To remove this because it's getting in the way. Sparkle of the Season. Okay, I think that's good. Just in case, since it's there. And I don't have a lot of ink in here, so I am going to have to do it a couple times. I do have a refill for this. I need to refill it. I don't want to go too heavy because I don't want it to smear and look blotchy. Okay, that looks good. So put this away for now. Get out a wipe and clean off this. Okay. I keep a little dish here on the side of my desk to keep my wipe in while because I know I'm going to need it again, so I kind of just keep it there. And then when it dries, I throw it in the trash. All right, so next, I'll put this aside with our other things. Get that tape because I can reuse it. Now, Merry Christmas. Now some people will cut their stamps, and you could cut this stamp here, and if I probably will give away or sell my used stamps that once they retire. So I don't want to cut it, and some people don't like to cut it. But if you don't like to cut it, then you can do what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to put my tape back in place to hold that in place. I'm going to put it kind of in the center too, and I'm going to use this line on here to make sure I get it straight, although I guess it doesn't really matter too much right now. Alrighty, get that back on there. Masking. So when you're gonna, if I only just want Mary, then I'm going to take a piece of tape. Could be any kind of tape. It could be washi tape even. I'm going to cover up Christmas. Push that down so the Y isn't covered up. And I'm going to stamp up the Mary. And that's going to tell me where the Mary is going to go. And you'll want to get your scratch piece of paper. Alright, so this is just a piece of scratch paper that I put a little bit of snail on. And it's not quite as sticky as I'd like. It's gotten not as sticky. So I'm going to put a new batch of them there. And cover this up here. That has a little bit of a mark on it. I don't know what it's from. So now I'm just going to put this underneath, and you know I want to leave room for Christmas too. So just kind of figure, look at it and figure, if I'm going to put Christmas here kind of in the center, I want to make sure that it is just a little bit above the center across. So I think that's good there. Oops. I didn't I moved it. You guys never do that, right? Because that would only be me that does that. Okay, I'm just going to be a little more careful and get my tape. All right, so I'm going to stamp, ink up the Mary again, and I'm going to try to get it really inky because I don't want to have to do this more than once or twice. Okay, so since I covered up the Christmas, the only thing that's going to stamp is the Mary. Okay, and this time I'm going to cover it up on that side and ink that up again. If you have a really inky ink pad, this would probably go faster for you. Okay, there's my Mary. Now I'm going to clean that off. And I'm not going to move my stamp because I already did this. So I'm just going to remove this, put my plastic back in place, and this time I'm going to cover up the Mary. And you can do this with any stamp. And ink up the Christmas. I'm just going to remove that. Okay, that shows me where the Christmas is going to stamp. I'll cover up my Mary again. Make sure I have no ink on my hands. Alright, now I have Christmas here, so I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to find where I want my Christmas. There's a little more than 1/8 of an inch between them. Mostly I just want to make sure that it's level, they're level and even side to side. All right, and then get my tape, put that there, and ink this up. I don't know what this is, why that's there, but it's not good. So and I'm hoping I wiped that Mary off well enough that it's not going to, yeah, I can see it's just a little bit there. I don't think I wiped the Mary off well enough. Lesson learned. With this red ink, you have to get it clean really good, but it's so faint that I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to be underneath all of these here. It's probably not even going to show. So I need a new clean piece of tape. Now, like I said, you might not have this much work if you have an ink pad that has lots of ink in it. Whoops, my tape moved. Okay, clean that off really good. I think I forgot to dry it and the tape didn't stick to it very well. Okay, let's try that again. All right, and stamp our Christmas. And just this, the C is not, gonna make sure that C is nice and dark and the S. Okay, I think we're done. I don't want to do too much more or I will overdo. Be sure to clean everything off. So that's our stamping, and I hope that you learned something about how you can get more versatility out of your stamps. Okay, so that's that. Clean up our Merry Christmas and put away our ink. Make sure you have no ink on your hands because you'll be sad if you do. All right, so set this aside for now. Now we're going to do some die cutting. Okay, so for our die cutting, get what we're going to be die cutting. This is already die cut for you, and this is actually a piece of Pear Pizzazz. It started out at 4 1/4 by 4. I die cut it with the 4th smallest circle die. So you would count up from the smallest, 1, 2, 3, 4 circle die, and then it is the largest scallop circle die. So I did a scallop circle die and then a small circle, the 4th smallest circle die in the center. That's how we got this. And then this is we'll be die cutting all of our little holly leaves from this. I think it's like, I don't even know. I'm just looking here. It's just you're just big enough to cut out your leaves. And let's see, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 die cut holly leaves times 6. So is that enough? It's like 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me get the dies out. I think we do more than 6, obviously. Where's my holly leaves? Right here. Yeah, we need more than 6. Let's see, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 11 times. We're going to die cut the 11 of these little holly leaves out of there. We've got some garden green. These are 4 by 5, 4 1/4 by 4. We're going to cut 3 of the pine needles, and I see I still have some from last time. So 3 of those, 4 1/4 by 4. And then this is going to be for our berries. And this is 1 by 2 inches with the adhesive sheets. And we're going to cut, I'm not even sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Probably 2 or 3. Probably 2. 2, maybe 3. All right, is that it for our, I think it is. So we'll put the rest of our dies away and bring in our die cutting machine. Oops. I'm gonna whack everything and get it in focus and get my plates. I've got a plate 1, a plate 2, a plate 3. This one is, it has a curve in it, but I guess I'll use it because I don't know if I have another plate. I'll just make it so the curve goes down. So let's start out with our little berries. Now this is going to be kind of tedious, so if you guys want to talk, that's fine. How many did we decide we needed? I think 11 of these. All right, let me see how many I've got. That's 8, 9, 10. I think one more, ladies, and then we will be done with the most tedious part of this. And I gave you plenty of cardstock to work with for this Compare Pizzazz. Okay, all right, so we're ready to put our card together. So I'm going to put this on the inside. Whoops, that's the other card that I used. All right, so if you haven't put this in here, then do it. Gee. Okay, so this is the card. So this is what goes on the inside, if you haven't already done that part. But apparently when I lost you guys, I did that. And anyway, put that in, and then you're going to take your little 3 3/4 by 3 1/2, and you're going to put that on the inside just like this. put it down at the bottom, it kind of helps me to level it up there. So, and then you're going to put it on the inside, which I've already done. All right, and then now we're going to do the wreath. So for the wreath, this is going to go behind here, and I found the best way to do that is with some glue. And I'm just going to put little dots of glue around here, not too close to the edge because you don't want it to ooze. And then just kind of frame your Merry Christmas in the center like that. Now that is going to go on your card. It's about 1/2 inch from the tips here and in the center, and I'm going to use glue for that because I like to be able to move that around like this. And you just want to make sure you get it level so that your Merry Christmas is not wonky. And if it is, the glue gives you just a minute, a second really, to get it straight. Next, we're going to put on our wreaths. Now you don't need all 3, but I like the 3 because it puts a little bit of dimension to your wreath. It actually makes it look like a wreath that's sticking out on your card. So I'm just finding places that are maybe behind the leaves and where the branches meet, and I'm just going to put that right here and push it down, and then I'm going to get an empty, it doesn't have to be empty, just a ribbon roll, and push that down. And then we're going to do that again, and this time I'm going to make sure that my leaves aren't in the same spot. My pine needles, that is. They're not really leaves. Okay, quickly doing this because I know this can be tedious. And try to make that so it's not in the same spot. Push it down. Oops, oops, oops. I didn't hold it down long enough. Push it down. And then this last one is going to be kind of to fill in any blanks. And remember, your ribbon's going to be here, so if there's a blank there, that's perfectly okay. So that's going to be my top. And I'm going to put my dots of glue along here. Doesn't take a lot because this glue is pretty sticky. Okay, that's my top, so I don't want to forget that. I'm looking, that's a little bare. It's just going to have to be bare, I guess. There, that looks better. So there's my wreath. And I'm going to kind of push it over a little bit so that it's centered. I'm definitely going to wipe my hands because I have glue on them, and the next step will be awful if I have glue on my fingers. Okay, next we're going to put the leaves on with some glue dots, and these leaves you have to decide what is the top and what's the bottom. What is going to be your top and bottom, and then you're going to line them up so that they have kind of one curves this way, one curves that way, and that way you can kind of have them ready to go. When you go, it's easier if you do this first. It'll be easier, you'll see, to go ahead and get them. Now I cut this 12 times. I think I might have done 11, but I went back and did another one. I might not need that many, but we'll see. Okay. Will be nice if these even out, won't it? And I don't think so, but I'm gonna make it even out. Okay, so basically we know that our ribbon's gonna go here, like kind of right here, so we don't really need to put any of the leaves, holly leaves there. We're going to get our glue dots and we're going to go around. Try to keep it behind there if you can. I'll do a couple and kind of show you what we're doing, and then you can you'll be able to do them a lot faster. Okay, so now the little berries, I want to keep calling these cherries. They don't want to stick to my finger. So I'm going to take that and put it right there. So I'm kind of putting it like 1, 2, 1, 2, and then putting the little berries right here. So I'm just going to continue around, and then I'll do all the berries. I just kind of wanted to show you where the berries went, and it helps if you turn your wreath with you when you turn. Okay, I think I can do one more. And it looks like it evened out pretty well because my ribbon's going to go there, so it doesn't really matter if my wreath is there. All right, then lastly, before we do our ribbon, we're going to put these on. And again, this is kind of tedious. Okay, I think that's that for the berries. Now we'll get our ribbon, and this is 9 inches of real red sheer ribbon. We're going to make 2 loops and try to make them even. And then this one, you're going to cross over that one, make it a little bit bigger. And then this loop is going to go through there. And then you're going to grab it with your other finger and pull it through. And then you may want to make it a little bit smaller. Let me see. How does that compare? It's about right. All right, so that's our ribbon. Maybe a little bit smaller. Decide which side you like. I think I like this side better. I'm pulling on it tight so to try to give it some shape, and then an angle, and an angle. Now we have our bow. We're going to put that on with some glue dots. Boy, we've used a lot of glue dots, haven't we? So here's the back. I usually like to use a couple of glue dots. Just pinch it off and then kind of put it in that spot that's kind of bare, right there. Okay. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do is to put our little gems up at the top here. So in your envelope, you'll find 4 of the real red rhinestone gems. And you're just going to put 1 in each one of these little points of the border up at the top. I'll try to get them even across. And this just adds a little bit of extra to it. Okay. All right, there's our card. I hope that you liked making this card with me, and you can check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, to see what current class kit I'm offering. Thanks for watching. Bye now.